Happy New Year! Welcome to 2026. I wanted to kick off this new year with that wave of inspiration that you are surely feeling right now and give you some help to ease into planning to travel full-time. Welcome to the How to Travel Full-Time podcast. I'm your host, Heather Markel. If you're dreaming of full-time travel or moving abroad, but stuck at the emotional, financial, and logistical challenges, this podcast is for you. I'll help you trade overwhelm for information that gets you from down and stuck to up and going. You can dream about the travel lifestyle, or you can live the travel lifestyle. If you're ready to live it, then let's jump in together. Hello there. Once again, I am Heather Markel. Nice to meet you. And this is the first episode of a special mini-series that I'm creating for January, and it's called, Is This the Year You Start Traveling Full-Time? This is not about pressure. It is about possibility. I mentioned in my last episode that I spent years talking myself out of taking even one step towards my own full-time travel dreams. I used to tell myself every December, next year will be the year I figure this out. And then every January I'd feel that little spark, like this will finally be the year. This is going to be the year I'm going to take that break and travel for a while. But by December, I'd spiral back into that disappointment. Not because I was lazy or unmotivated, but because I was scared. Because I didn't know where to start. And because I thought I had to basically blow up my entire life just to begin. And then one January, my chest started to hurt. Physically. And I realized that that pain was not fear of traveling. It was that ache of staying stuck. So that was the moment I said yes. Not to a plane ticket, not to quitting everything, but yes to myself and to starting gently, honestly, and at my own pace. So I remember back in 2017, that January when I realized the pain in my chest was going to be a catalyst and that I wouldn't hide behind my fear any longer. It felt different from all the years before. That January, I made a commitment, as I mentioned, to myself. And I thought originally that I was quitting to find other work up until that point. But that chest pain made me realize I needed to put myself first. It's like some part of me woke up and that small flame in my heart became a fire with flames of excitement so big, my fear no longer ruled my decisions. Now, I did things in steps, and I urge you to do the same thing, especially if you're a person that's been wanting to do this for a long time now, but hasn't been able to get started. So for me, what that looked like was I decided that year in 2017 that I was going to find 3 challenges to my comfort zone that year and then find the courage to do things differently. In other words, to step out of my comfort zone when I realized I was being offered an opportunity. I had no idea what those challenges would be. I just committed to finding them. Well, the first one came in February. I took my second trip to Iceland, wonderful place, and I finally saw the Northern Lights. It was so magical, I didn't want to go home when I was supposed to. There was this huge snowstorm, and I'm sitting here in Iceland. I'm like, oh my God, I've seen the Northern Lights. I just want to stay. I want to do it again. And this snowstorm, I figured, because it ended the morning of my flight, and it dumped 25 inches of snow. So I was positive my flight would be canceled. Nope, not in Iceland. Wasn't even delayed. And I was just waiting for something else to intervene and force me to stay. Now I'm going to say that again. I had been waiting for something or someone else to intervene. This trip to Iceland made me realize I had spent so much time in my life waiting for other people to lead my life in the direction I wanted it to go. No wonder I got so off track. So I wanted you to hear that again. Are you waiting for something or someone else to go and live the life you want? Now, the waiting in my case, this waiting I was doing just didn't work. So I got my flight and I went home. And let me tell you, I felt like I had made the wrong decision the entire way home. When I got home, I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I looked up the forecast for the Northern Lights for the next night, and it was so good, I knew I'd regret not being there, and I booked a return flight immediately. Now, this was really unlike me, but I realized that was that first opportunity to challenge my comfort zone, and I accepted it, and I conquered it. While I was in Iceland, I met a guy from Spain. We were staying at the same hotel and ended up talking till about 4 a.m. my last night there. We stayed in touch for 6 months, and he invited me to visit him in Spain. This was really uncomfortable. After video and phone calls for so long, it just seemed weird to spend a weekend with him. But then I realized, this is challenge number 2. So I booked my flight. Now, the relationship did not work out, but I realized that I had had the courage to step outside my comfort zone once again, which made me ready for challenge number 3, one that I created, which was the scariest one. And I want to say that again. The first 2 kind of happened. The third one I felt was different because I actually was driving it. And that challenge was telling my mom that I planned to quit my job and travel. Well, that turned out magical too. I got her drunk and she took the news really well. And then the next day, when she sobered up, she began a month of telling me reasons that I should not follow this dream of mine. And they were pretty good reasons. By the end of that month, I learned that most of the fears in my head that had held me back for years weren't even mine. Well, that freed me up to finally quit my job. Now, I did try to get a sabbatical, but unfortunately, that was not an option. So in my case, I did have to quit my job, but you don't have to do that. So that was my story that led to my own travel lifestyle. What will your story be? What if this is the year you say yes to your travel dream? Not in a dramatic leap, but with one clear step. If you've been sitting with this longing, I made something for you. It's a 2-minute quiz to help you uncover your unique freedom travel style. It's not about labeling you. It's about helping you find the path to your own travel lifestyle in a way that feels perfect for you. It's called the Freedom Travel Quiz, and I'm going to put the URL in the show notes. It's basically heatherbegins.com/freedom travel style quiz with dashes between the words freedom, travel, style, and quiz, which is why I'm going to drop it below so you don't have to remember all that. Now, next week, we're going to bust, next week is part 2 of this series, and we're going to bust some of the myths that keep people stuck for so long. But for now, just ask yourself, what have you been waiting for? And what could happen if you stop waiting for it? Talk to you next week. Thanks so much for listening to the How to Travel Full-Time podcast. If you loved it, please leave a review and let us know. Make sure to subscribe to get the latest episodes. Check out the show notes for important resources related to this episode, and come visit us at travellifestylecoach.com to learn more great information. If you're ready to get started with the lifestyle, go to moneyfortravelbootcamp.com, where you can learn all the strategies to afford this amazing lifestyle. Talk to you next week.